Welcome to Design Your Destiny, your podcast for tapping into the power of your subconscious mind. In this next few minutes, allow me to show you how to tap into that power so that you can create success with ease, form deeper connections, and have greater presence in your relationships, and most importantly, find peace within yourself. My name is Penny Chason, and I'm your host. Hey, joyful souls. I know this is going to seem a little odd today. It's the second week of the new year when you're hearing this episode, but I'm going to be talking about closure today because closure opens things up for us, and so quickly we can get distracted. We can forget. Our attention can end up on something else, and we can lose sight of what it is that we want. And sometimes there are things that we have to let go of, that need to be released, that we need to close the door on, shut the book, finish the chapter, whatever metaphor you want to use. Things have to come to a completion of sorts before we can move forward. Now it's the 30th of December when I'm recording this, and what has inspired this episode is a couple of weeks ago, I had a huge shift, and it's not anything that I could script out or write out or define for you. But I'm going to share with you about the experience because perhaps it's going to give someone some insight or open up a new way of looking at things. And if this episode helps one person, then that's great. If it helps a lot of you, then I'm really freaking excited. But, my goal is that it's going to make an impact for someone out there. So we recently had a full moon. And this full moon was on what's called a 9-day. So I don't know if you follow numerology. I know just enough numerology to be dangerous with it, okay? So please don't email me with your numerology questions because I have no bloody freaking clue. But I had listened to someone I follow who does numerology, and it's Cindy Van Arnhem, and she was laying out her forecast for the full moon. And she was talking about it being a 9-day and the closure that comes with that and how it's time to put things to bed, let things lay to rest that aren't serving you anymore so that we can move forward into manifesting and create what it is that we really want. Now, whether you believe in manifesting or not, I'm just going to say right now, I know a lot of people who embody the principles of manifestation and don't even know that they're doing it. Okay? And that's why people who aren't necessarily spiritual, can have great things in their life. And I watch it and I see it, I'm like, oh, now I get what they're doing. Okay, so I digress. Anyway, it was about closure, and I wanted to sit and just be with myself around, okay, what do I need to let go of? Like, what are some of the things that I even need to think about to understand what I need to let go? Like, I wasn't even sure what questions to ask myself to get guidance around this. I don't go into these things consciously analytically. I look to get information that will help me see things through a different lens. So, if you're not into the woo, I'm sorry. You're just going to have to bear with me, or you can click off either way. But I sometimes get guidance from oracle card decks. So that's what I did. I pulled a card. I was like, what do I even need to be looking at here? Like, which direction should I go? And it was all about vision. Be clear on your vision and also be prepared for the unexpected. Because some of the circles that I go hang out in, they're talking about 2022 is going to be another year of a lot of change. It's going to continue to be choppy. I'm like, okay, I knew what my vision was already for 2022, but I sat down and I wrote it out all over again. And then I went to one of my other card decks and I'm like, okay, I want to ask 3 questions. What do I need to release or let go of? That's the whole closure component. And then what is the guidance that I need as I move forward? And then where does my attention need to be? Like, what has to happen for me to time collapse those results? And I'm telling you, you just can't make this stuff up in terms of what happens. And the messages that came through, it's like, okay, I see basically what's happening in terms of this. And it's like, where I want to go in my life and in my business this year, it means that I really have to put to bed my old identity and fully step into a new identity. Now, for those of you who don't know me and haven't been in some of the circles that I move in where we tend to get together and chat about these things, I've been working for 6 months on embodying this new identity. And I've had my foot half in the door, half out of the door in terms of showing up exactly as who I am, which I'm doing in this podcast right now, right? I'm just going to have to embrace who I am spiritually. And that's the bottom line. People are going to love it. They're going to hate it. It's going to put people off, or some people are going to tolerate it to hear the other things I have to say. And that's okay. Everyone can take what resonates and let go what does not. But that was the message, basically, that it's like, wait a minute, you have to step into this other identity. The things that you were holding on to of the other identity, they have to be let go. You have to put them to bed. Step into your uniqueness. Be aggressive in your actions, not aggressive from an in-your-face and a forceful point of view, but to not slack off. That consistency, that making sure that I'm getting the message out there so I can help as many people as possible. And then, of course, how do I amplify this? It comes back to the most basic of principles in the world. The absolutely most basic, and I already do it, but I'm going to look at my life and see how I can embody this principle at an even greater level, and that is the principle of gratitude. You've heard me talk about gratitude before, I think just a couple of episodes ago. For Christmas, I was talking about, the giving and the receiving and gratitude. Gratitude is priceless. You want more of something in your life? Gratitude is the way to go. Are you ready to transform your life mentally, physically, emotionally, and spiritually so that you can create a deeper spiritual connection and live your life with clarity that brings a focus and a calm so that you can be decisive and know what you want and create the opportunities that allow you to have expansion and success in your life, whether it is your business, your relationship with others, or your relationship with yourself? If you're ready for that, then I'm ready to connect with you. I want you to go over to the website, pennychason.com/ultimates. Apply for the Ultimate Energetic Alignment Retreat. I am only taking 11 women on this 9-month journey with me in 2022, so you want to head over there right now and apply today. So I started this whole episode talking about closure. And here I am talking about gratitude. Where am I going with all of this? When I went through this process and I looked for this guidance of where I can examine my life to do things better from a higher perspective, something shifted. And I'm not certain exactly what it was, but between the full moon and the solstice, the whole energy changed. And I don't know if it's just me, if it's other people, if it's something happening on a higher consciousness level. But even though people are saying 2022 is going to be choppy, like there's going to be tons of opportunity, but it's going to be choppy. It's going to be a little rough. There's going to be a lot of change. Like, my God, can we handle more change right now? I mean, the world is just a little funny out there, if you know what I'm saying. But I feel so optimistic. I feel very optimistic because something got let go. Something was released. And you know what? I don't care what it was. It doesn't matter to me what it was because I have felt the shift and I'm focused on what is in front of me. This podcast is being released on a 9-day, January 11th, 2022. It is a 9-day. It is a day for releasing. It is a day for closure. It is a time of endings for wrapping things up. So what can you close the door on that you have, maybe benefited from fully, however, it's not going to support you in this next step or this next phase of your life? What's no longer serving you that you can get rid of? What have you been carrying around that's been holding you back and weighing you down that you need to let go of? Sometimes we know these things, and sometimes we don't. I don't know what I released. Maybe when I went to bed that night, my subconscious mind was working on all of this, and I rewrote some old patterns. Because when we sleep is when our subconscious mind takes our memories and converts them to long-term memory. When we sleep is when our subconscious mind within the brain, I shouldn't even say the subconscious mind, but when the brain breaks down old neural pathways. So maybe something happened overnight as I was sleeping. I don't know. All I know is there's been a change. It's positive. I like it. And whatever was left behind can stay there with blessings and gratitude and respect for however it served me in the past, but I no longer need it. So I want to leave you with this. Everybody gets so gung-ho at the beginning of the year. What's my word? What's my mantra? Focused on what they're bringing in. But if you haven't already, take a moment, sit and consider what you're letting go to make room for the new. I'll see you next week. Thank you for listening today. If you've enjoyed this episode of Design Your Destiny, I would appreciate it if you would head over to iTunes and leave a positive review. When you leave a positive review, it's like podcast currency, and we can increase our reach and get the message to even more people that they, just like you, have the ability to design their destiny. And remember, subscribe on your favorite podcast platform.